born April 7th, 1981 in Clinton, Oklahoma. This is John. A pair of pants around his head. John on his first birthday. Isn't that cute? So John, I had to look up a little bit about Clinton because I was curious. I knew it was a small town, so I looked it up. And there's downtown Clinton. I texted a picture of this to John, and he immediately shot back and said he had been to the Redland Theater and saw all these different movies he still remembered. But that's the downtown of Clinton, 9,033 people. It is the hub of western Oklahoma. Now, summer's coming up, and probably many of you people are looking for a vacation destination. So I looked up on TripAdvisor, and believe it or not, you can plan a vacation to Clinton. And these are some hotels you can stay at, the top-rated hotels, and then you can do whatever this stuff is right there. You can do that if you go there. So there is tourism there, but it's the Wild West. And this is there are cowboys in western Oklahoma. There are Indians, and you can ride the plane in your horse. You can fish, as you're going to find out later. And you can hunt. These are the things that we do in Clinton. So John, it's hard to find anything on John that was in any way bad. I mean, his pictures were just like the all-American kid. I mean, look at him. You go through here. It's like, that is the, mom, an apple pie. Look at that, man. All-American. Homespun. Look at him. He plays baseball for God's sake. Look at that. So him and his brother there. So John's growing up into this all-American young man. And I was struggling at this point looking through these photos, trying to find any dirt on John, because there's none. I just met his family. Fortunately, it would have been nice to talk to you guys earlier. I found out he likes to sing a lot, which I've not, maybe the residents have heard that, I've not. But you see as John growing up, he's a basketball star. He's got a kind of all-American birthday cake for baseball. His brother looks, are you just looking jealously at him there? This is as close as I can get. It's John with a tie that's entirely too long and braces. That's as good as it could get. Just the all-American looking kid. I mean, even doing science experiments on his kitchen table, he looks cool. Playing in the kitchen, every picture of John's just homespun. This is the only crap I could find on. This is John sleeping. People love taking pictures of you when you're sleeping. You're probably not aware of that because you're sleeping, but I went through all these and there's just picture after picture of you sleeping. And I did use some of them later. I don't know what that kid's looking for, but it's out of your mouth. People love taking a picture of John sleeping. This is, again, the all-American family, John and his siblings. His brother and sister are here today. John was a all-star in baseball. Even his senior year pictures, and we've all seen, I'm sorry to bring up you, Christian, we've all seen your high school yearbook photo. I'm sorry to bring up, but John did the same thing. John looks fine in this. There's no problems at all there. So I really searched to find anything on John, and all I could come up with was what I'm going to call the haircut. This is the haircut. Now, I had to talk to John about this. We had to sit down and talk about this because I said, I didn't know your hair was naturally curly. And he said, well, it's not actually. So I'm like, so that's a perm. It's perm. So we talked a while, and John had a really elaborate explanation for this, but I will summarize it to you in bad judgment. Those would be the two words I would use to summarize how this haircut came to be. But I assumed at some point maybe it was just some form of torture that got him this, but no. So most people, if they got this haircut, would either go into hiding or they would shave their head. But what John did was he packed his bags and he went on a tour all through the whole world with this hair. And I like to call this the John Boone Bad Haircut World Tour. They went all over the globe taking pictures of John and his hair. These bewildered European people playing John and his hair. Sleeping with the hair. And maybe even thinking about killing himself because of the haircut. But he didn't do it, thankfully. What he did was he came home and he cut his hair right, and he graduated from high school. John was valedictorian of his class, and here is the valedictorian, class of 2000. John also wanted to be a gangster, but as we know, there was no chance that was going to happen with this All-American kid. He went to Southwestern Oklahoma State, which is in Weatherford, home of the Bulldogs, I'm guessing. Is that a bulldog?
Bulldog.
All right. Fighting Bulldogs or just Bulldogs?
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. That's where John went. Now, I couldn't find any pictures of John doing any high school activity or college activities, for that matter, high school activities, that one would associate with a, young man. The only things we could find were hunting and fishing pictures. So I'm going to show all of them to you, because that's all I had. So this is John wearing hunting clothes, I'm guessing. A couple of his trophies, duck calls. I thought they were cigars. Those are duck calls. And then picture after picture of John catching fish. That one, I don't think he caught it that way, but that's John with the fish. So as I went through these, I thought there's got to be some significance to this. There's so many pictures of John pulling fish out of the water. Look at this. Every picture is John fishing with a different hat.
Oh.
Those are some big ones. So really all that varied is John's t-shirt and his hat. The fish were all about the same. Now he did turn 21, and I found this. This has happened in college, I guess. But he went back to fishing again. With his brother, like, oh, your brother's in all these pictures. That y'all are really close family. It's quite clear from watching these. That he did do some yard work one year, but then he went back to fishing again. Fishing with his brother again. More fishing. Eventually, wait, there's another one. I forgot about that one. He eventually fished a degree out of the water. 2004, he graduated. This is again with the family, pictures with his brother. I don't know what's going on with you there, John. You're probably thinking about that haircut you had. It's with his dad. And John went to medical school at the University of Oklahoma, where he started in 2004. It's him with his couple of his sibs. So I thought when I look at this sort of all-American upbringing, I wondered what would happen. Because, John was around a lot of rednecks there in Oklahoma, presumably. I'm going to go ahead and go on a line there and say that probably happened. So what if John did succumb to the redneck tendencies? What would happen? And these are some things I came up with. First of all, this is what he would look like. That would be you, John. Think of what could have happened to you. Mullet, shirtless. It's not pretty. You might have got married early. It's hard to make out. Yeah, she's pregnant in this picture. It's hard to see. It's washed out a little bit. You could have gone to some redneck school, redneck university. But fortunately, even if you did that, I think you'd still have been med school, even if you were wearing a hillbilly hat with a corncob pipe. You still would have made it there because you're smart. That's what would have got you there. So he did graduate from OU Medical School in 2008. And we were lucky enough to match him here at the Health Science Center. And after John was here about 2 years, something pretty important happened to John, and that thing was Match.com. John went on, he had the bravery to go on Match.com and put his name out there. And what he came up with was something spectacular, and that was Allie Moody, who he met in October 2010. So in their pictures, also the all-American couple, so I decided just to spice some of it up. I would Photoshop John's sleepy head in some of these pictures just to keep it interesting. So you'll have to look at those for a while. This is the thing, though. So John had spoken with the family or Allie for a while online before he actually visited. I think was it November of 2010? So John was going to come down and visit, and you can imagine what the parents thought. They're like, oh, here's this guy coming who's a doctor. Right? And we don't know him from Adam. He's going to come into our house, right? You're going to have him stay in the basement. And I'm sure all these horror stories went up because you don't know this guy. You don't know what's going to happen. So I pieced together a worst-case scenario that might have happened. If John was as bad as you thought he might be. But he wasn't. He was John Boone. He's an awesome guy. And y'all found that out pretty quickly, I'm sure. And here there's the happy couple early in their courtship. John showed her what it's all about to be on the farm. and I got to show you that one. That's my favorite one. I just like that. Showed her how to shoot a gun. I'm sure that's going to be, they're just kind of the dynamic duo, really, except John's sleeping sometimes. They got married in San Antonio in May 21st of 2011. It's a fantastic picture. This is with John and his family and Allie. This is the husband and wife. No, just kidding. This is them right there. I love that photo. You have so many great photos in your book. It's really fantastic. And this, I don't know what John did on his honeymoon, but I think he might have had something to do with the decision making there. I actually did not Photoshop that. That's actually what happened right after his wedding. So they also did a great thing, and they just have a baby boy as well. It's been really interesting having our two chiefs have kids this year, and this is John, appropriately enough, sleeping with Caleb, his son. And John is going to Minneapolis, so he's going to practice there. I guess they have practice shirts. He's got one already for young Caleb to wear to celebrate his new practice where he's going to be. It's been insanely fun training you, John. It's been a blast. So I can tell you everybody's really happy for you and your successful career that you're going to have, and really look forward to watching it in the future.